Hey, what's up? It's JP, and I thought I'd do a little follow up to my last rant video. I guess that's what it was. No, the first video I put up about Fallout was definitely a rant video. Well, this one still kind of is a rant video, but I've had some time to kind of mull things over and consider things, and I'm not quite as emotional about it. I mean, after all, it is only a video game, but Fallout is special to me, as it is to a lot of people. Obviously, if you've read the Reddit subreddit, I mean, Fallout really means a lot to a lot of people. And I think that really comes down to that Fallout, maybe even more so than any other game franchise, has been able to transcend generations. There's, teenagers, or younger even, teenagers all the way through adults in their 50s, maybe even 60s, who play Fallout, because it's a fun game for all ages. No matter how old you are, there's something you can get out of it. It has the dark humor, it has the 50s styling, it has the shooting elements to it, and most importantly for me, and I think obviously if you've been watching the community lately, the fact that it's an offline game, or well, was an offline game, and was a single player game, was a big part of why it was so enjoyable for so many people. Because, guess what? Not everybody loves to play online. Not everybody wants that PvP, Call of Duty, PUBG, Fortnite, or even Rust, Ark, Destiny experience. There is some joy to be had by just kind of playing by yourself. For me, and I've heard a lot of people say the same thing. You like to come home after work or whatever on the weekends when you have some free time, sit down at your computer or sit down at your console, and turn on Fallout and disappear into the world of Fallout, and then just go do your thing. How you want to do it, when you want to do it, where you want to do it. You're not answering to anybody. You don't have to worry about anybody else. It's just you and the game. And now it feels like, we've almost had something taken away from us in the Fallout community, in this camp. And I think it is the majority of people, of at least a majority of the core Fallout fan base, of which I consider myself a member, feel like this. Because this game has always been a single player game from its inception up until now. And yes, it's fine to do new things and to try new things and to experiment. And I don't think that's why Bethesda is doing this. I'll explain that in a minute. But even if, it was fine, but I think they really took the wrong direction with this. If they wanted to do something different and to experiment, I think what they should have done is make a Fallout game that has the story, that has the single player mode. So if you don't want to deal with others, you don't have to. And then you put a co-op mode in there. Todd Howard said in one of his interviews, well, online was the biggest request we had for, Fallout. Yeah, and I believe that. Honestly, I don't think he's lying there, believe it or not. I think that he was 100% accurate. But people didn't want an online only player versus player Fallout. Period. Not the core fan base. I think what people were asking for was, hey, would you consider putting in like a co-op mode? So, hey, I have a couple of buddies who also play Fallout, and it would be cool if we could, get on a server together and go questing, not PvP. I don't think that's what people were asking for. But I think they're using that as an excuse, I guess, or, as a justification for why they made this game by saying, oh, well, the fans asked for it. No, they did not ask for it. Maybe not all fans are totally against it. I know they're not. I've seen some fans say, yeah, cool, this is going to be awesome. Mostly the younger fans who are also probably PUBG players and Fortnite players. And I'm not trying to single them out and say those aren't true gamers or those, all Fortnite players and PUBG players are griefers and whatnot. No, that's not the case. Although, when I've played games like that, unfortunately, there are a lot of people that are griefers and who just get off on ruining other people's good time. That's why I tried to play Fallout, or not Fallout, GTA Online a few months ago. because I really like GTA 5. And I thought, well, I'll try to play GTA Online and see how that goes. I tried, man. Every time I got into a server, I swear, within minutes, I had somebody in a helicopter with a freaking rocket launcher just shooting me over and over and killing me, and I'd spawn, and he'd kill me again, and I'd spawn, and he'd kill me again, and I'd spawn. And you either do that until they finally get tired and move on, or you just rage quit or jump to another server because there's nothing you can do about it. There's no moderator overseeing the servers and kicking people out. Griefing isn't cheating. Okay, so it's basically you get good, and I'm not a good Twitch shooter, as they call it now. I guess that's a term for it, is Twitch shooting. I'm not a good Twitch shooter. I don't want to become a good Twitch shooter. Okay, I'm a good enough shooter to play Fallout offline against AI. And even then, I get my ass kicked sometimes, but at least I could save the game, I come back, I load up, and I try again until I win. With online, it's just a whole different beast, And as much as Pete and Todd are out there preaching, oh, this isn't going to be griefy. We don't want it to be griefy. And Pete saying, oh, well, the PvP, it's more like offering a challenge. Well, what does that mean? Like, they won't be specific. And I'll tell you why they won't be specific is because, well, they know, but really it's going to be a PvP intensive game. They don't want to admit that before launch because they don't want to dissuade pre-sales from the players who are going to be there trying to pull over from PUBG and from Fortnite and saying, hey, look at our new PvP title, for Fallout, come play this and give this a shot. And that's what I was getting at earlier. This is the motivation behind why they made this game. First of all, it was easy for them to make. That's why they were able to put out a new Fallout game in 3 years. Okay, the only reason they were able to put out New Vegas as quick as they did after Fallout 3 was because, first of all, they subcontracted out the game to Obsidian. And then they handed Obsidian over all of the texture files and basically everything they had from Fallout 3 and said, use this, we need the game in 2 to 3 years. And they did. So if you look at Fallout New Vegas, I mean, yes, to me it's the best Fallout game. And I think most fans agree. But it's all reused Fallout 3 textures and stuff that, Obsidian did a great job with it, obviously. But, and even then, it was still a miracle that they got that game out as fast as they did. But if you do an online-only game with no NPCs, so you don't have to pay for voice acting, all right, you're not paying for motion capture, you're not paying for a lot of the development of textures, because if you look at the trailers for Fallout 76, you'll see that just like with Fallout New Vegas using Fallout 3's textures, Fallout 76 is mostly using Fallout 4 textures. And I've noticed that when I look at the trailer for Fallout 76 and then I go into the game, and you probably, if you look around in the gameplay you're watching now, you can, and then go watch the trailer for Fallout 76, there's some, very familiar textures there because they're all reused textures. Maybe they did, redid a few of them, and yes, the engine has been retooled to handle multiplayer and maybe to look a little better, and the weather system is dynamic now and stuff. And there's a few little minor, improvements there. But it was a cheap and easy game for them to make compared to a full-on fledged brand new, title. So, they're saving money there. And two, I think they're planning on making even more money on this game than they did on Fallout 4. And to put that into perspective, they sold 12 million copies of Fallout 4 in the first day after release. So if you consider $60 a pop, times 12 million. That's how much money they made on Fallout 4 just in the first 24 hours after release of that game. So I'm sure they're going to do at least that, if not more, for Fallout 76, but then it doesn't end there. After that, they're going to have the Creation Club, where they're going to have, well, they say only aesthetic, mods, that they're not going to be selling super guns and stuff, and it's not going to be pay to win and all that crap. Well, we'll see. But what I do think is a big possibility, because when Todd talks about, well, one day we're going to be implementing, private servers where you can have your own private world, I think it is a good possibility that they're going to, roll that out maybe 6 months to a year, but they're going to do it as a game as service with a paid subscription. And they're going to say, okay, well, if you want your own private world where you can mod it the way you want it and you don't have to deal with other players on the public servers, then you're going to have to pay a monthly subscription fee to us, for, for the use, basically renting the server space from them. Otherwise, you're basically stuck playing on the private servers with the other, players, and there's going to be griefing. I guarantee it. As much as they say there's not, and that there's going to be ways that they're going to prevent it, I don't see how they're going to prevent the griefing. And they say, well, you don't understand the nukes. It's not like there's going to be nukes falling every minute. Come on, anybody who's played any online game knows that the day that game launches, there's going to be groups of people just grinding on those quests, because they say the nukes are the end game of the quest. The end game of the quest is you finally get all of the nuclear codes you need to nuclear codes you need to launch a nuke. And then you can choose to either nuke somebody or you can nuke a specific area. But either way, anybody in that area either has to choose to stay in that area, which is going to either kill them immediately if they're in the blast radius, I'm assuming, or if they're in the fallout zone, they're still going to be in this high-level area, so you're going to have to get up and move. So either way, it's going to affect players in that area, either directly or indirectly. I think that there's going to be a lot more nukes going off than they think. I don't know if Todd or Pete have actually really played any online games like against actual real players and not just QA testers and Bethesda Game Studios employees. But not everybody on there is nice and looking to make sure everybody, has a good time. It's not like this touchy-feely community of everybody's like, oh, let's play together, let's quest together. Yeah, and, let's respect each other, and we're not going to use bad language, and we're not going to, just rip on other people and try to screw up their experience. Unfortunately, there's just way too much of that childish crap going on. And maybe it's not going to ruin the whole Fallout franchise, but I think it's really going to not make Fallout 76 fun. And I know everybody's saying, well, just give it a chance. Just give it a chance. You can't, knock it until you try it. Well, I've pre-ordered the game, so yeah, I'm going to try it and hope for the best and hope that somehow this can be a different kind of online game, I guess. But really, oh, that's cool. That guy, perfect headshot right there, still holding on. Anyways, I don't know. I'm just concerned for Fallout, I guess, because it means so much to me, and I would be so bummed out if, this was the end for Fallout, like, as an enjoyable franchise for me. And I know a lot of people feel the same way. And I think Todd did put it well when he said that, when every time there's a new, Fallout title, there's a sense of like, people are scared they're going to miss out. That, even though you can say, well, if you don't like it, just don't play it. It's like, well, but I love Fallout and I want to play Fallout or any Fallout game. And you made this Fallout game that I probably won't like, and it's online, and I hate playing online, which for me, that is the case. I hate playing online, but nothing I can do about it. I guess I kind of got my feelings out. I just think this is a big cash money grab for Bethesda, and they probably will make a lot of cash on it. And even though they have all these promises of giving away tons of free DLC and they're going to be supporting this game for free for years, they're going to have their loot boxes and their microtransactions. They're probably going to at some point be implementing, subscription fees, at least for those who want their own private worlds. They'll probably keep the public servers open for, the cost of the game, which is $60, will, get you onto the public servers. But if you want the private servers, you're going to need a subscription to their, game as service. And two, I don't know if they're really going to allow third-party mods. They said that they are all for modding, and they support modding 100%, but I don't know if that's going to be like modding as we're used to today, like on Nexus. I think they might go the route of, well, all mods are going to only be on Bethesda.net, and all mods have to be vetted and approved by Bethesda. They're not going to just let anybody, throw up any mods they want. And they're going to, of course, cite things like adult content and possible, copyright infringement and stuff like that. Because if you put like a Colt, like an actual Colt gun, or like a Luger, or like some kind of trademark gun in the game, I mean, I don't know. They can make up any silly BS they want, like they're doing now at all these interviews, like when Pete Hines said that Fallout 76 is going to be more of an RPG than Fallout 3 or Fallout 4. And that's... Where do they come up with this stuff? And do they think we're all stupid? I mean, that's the impression I got, is that they think we're all stupid and that we can't see the forest for the trees, man. That, they can just... baby spoon feed us little tidbits of information, and that's going to satisfy us. Oh, well, don't worry. PvP is not that big a part of this game. And if you don't want PvP, you won't have to have PvP. But when you ask, actually, nobody's actually asked them how. I think a few people did, but the just stock answer is, well, it's more like offering a challenge. It's not really, you don't have to do PvP. Or they'll give you an answer like, oh, well, the map is 4 times bigger than Fallout 4. There's going to be room for you to get away. Those aren't legitimate answers. Okay? An answer to that question would be like, you can turn off PvP if you want. So you can go passive. So if you want to disengage from PvP, you cannot attack another player. Other players cannot attack you. But they haven't said that because, honestly, I don't think there's any intention for them to do that. Because, as Todd said, they don't want it to be griefy, but they want it to have a little drama, and a little drama is going to be, a lot of players getting griefed all the time. There's going to be nukes going off on a regular basis. I almost guarantee it, man. Even though they say it's going to be a rare occurrence, bullshit. You're going to have people grinding those quests, grinding them constantly. Some people are going to make it their goal to do nothing but grind, get a nuke, launch it. Grind, get a nuke, launch it. And people, obviously, gamers, man, they get good at that kind of shit. And after a while, they're going to get so good at it, it's not going to take them long. And before long, there's going to be nukes being launched every 10 minutes. And if they say, like, the nukes affect one area of the map, which becomes irradiated and becomes this high-level area for a finite amount of time, but a long enough amount of time to give you time to go in there to get this high-level loot, and then slowly it returns back to its normal state. But, you could potentially, if you have a bunch of people launching nukes even every, half hour, you could have the whole map or half the map is high level. So it's going to really restrict, your movements and where you're able to go. So for those people who really love that single player, aspect feeling of Fallout 4, Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, that's going to be restricted. You cannot, like Todd gave the speech, you can go where you want to go, do what you want to do, quest, level up. That's not really going to be so much the case in Fallout 76 as it was with other Fallout games. At least not until we get these private servers. So we'll just have to see how that goes. Anyways, geez, how long have I been ranting? For a while now, over 15 minutes. Well, I'll leave it at that, and we'll see where this goes. But I'll be getting the game, and I'll be online playing it with the rest of you who decide to buy it too. We'll see. Hopefully everything is dandy and wonderful and happy and goes just like Todd and Pete said it would. Anyways, this is JP signing off.